Chichen Itza changed into a huge pre-Columbian metropolis constructed with the aid of using the Maya human beings of the Terminal Classic period. The archaeological website online is positioned in Tinam Municipality, Yucatan State, Mexico. Chichen Itza changed into a main focal factor inside the northern Maya lowlands from the late Classic, c. AD 600 to 900, via the Terminal Classic, c. AD 800 to 900, and into the early part of the post-Classic period, c. AD 900 to 1200. The website online well-known shows a mess of architectural patterns, harking back to patterns visible in Imperative Mexico, and of the Puyuk and Shen types of the northern Maya lowlands. The presence of imperative Mexican patterns changed into as soon as notion to were consultant of direct migration, or maybe conquest from imperative Mexico. However, maximum current interpretations view the presence of those non-Maya patterns extra, because the end result of cultural diffusion. Chichen Itza changed into certainly considered one among the biggest Maya towns, and it changed into in all likelihood to were one of the legendary exceptional towns, or talents, cited in later Mesoamerican literature. The metropolis may also have had the maximum numerous populace inside the Maya world, a component that might have contributed to the type of architectural patterns on the website online. The ruins of Chichen Itza are federal property, and the website online stewardship is maintained with the aid of using Mexico's Instituto Nacional de Antropología y Historia, National Institute of Anthropology and History. The land below the monuments were privately owned till March 29, 2010, while it changed into bought with the aid of using the nation of Yucatan. Name: a feathered serpent sculpture at the bottom of one of the stairways of Kukulcán. The Maya name Chichen Itza means at the mouth of the properly of the Itza. This derives from chi, meaning mouth or edge, and chn, or chen, meaning properly. Location: the northern Yucatan Peninsula is karst, and the rivers inside the indoors all run underground. There are 4 visible, herbal sinkholes, known as cenotes, that would have supplied considerable water 12 months spherical at Chichen, making it appealing for settlement. Of those cenotes, the cenote sagrado, or sacred cenote, additionally variously called the sacred well, or well of sacrifice, is the maximum famous. In 2015, scientists decided that there may be a hidden cenote beneath Kukulcán, which has in no way been visible through archaeologists. Political columns inside the Temple of 1,000 Warriors. Several archaeologists inside the overdue 80s recommended that not like preceding Maya polities of the early Classic, Chichen Itza won't have been ruled via way of means of an man, or woman ruler, or a unmarried dynastic lineage. Instead, the city's political employer might have been based via way of means of a multiple system, that's characterized as rulership by a council composed of individuals of elite ruling lineages. Economy: Chichen Itza become a first-rate monetary energy inside the northern Maya lowlands, all through its apogee. Participating inside the waterborne circumpeninsular alternate direction via its port web page of Isla Cerritos at the north coast. Chichen Itza become capable of reap regionally unavailable assets from remote regions together with obsidian from important Mexico and gold from southern Central America. Between AD 900 and 1050, Chichen Itza accelerated to turn out to be an effective nearby capital controlling north and important Yucatan. It set up Isla Cerritos as a buying and selling port. History: the Grand Ballcourt systems. The format of Chichen Itza web page middle evolved all through its in advanced segment of occupation, among 750 and 900 AD. Its very last format turned into evolved after 900 AD, and the 10th century noticed the upward thrust of the town as a nearby capital controlling the region from principal Yucatan to the north coast, with its electricity extending down the east and west coasts of the peninsula. The earliest hieroglyphic date observed at Chichen Itza is equal to 832 AD, whilst the ultimate regarded date turned into recorded inside the Osorio Temple in 998. Ascendancy: as Chichen Itza rose to prominence, the towns of Yaxuna, to the south, and Coba, to the east, had been struggling decline. These towns were mutual allies, with Yaxuna structured upon Koba. At a few factor with inside the 10th century Koba misplaced a massive part of its territory, separating Yaxuna, and Chichen Itza can also additionally have at once contributed to the fall apart of each town's decline. Section of stucco frieze with a outstanding human face with inside the center, surrounded through problematic decoration. Hunak Seal, ruler of Mayapan, conquered Chichen Itza with inside the 13th century. Hunak Seal supposedly prophesied his personal upward push to power. After Chichen Itza elite sports ceased, the town might not were abandoned. When the Spanish arrived, they determined a thriving neighborhood population, even though it isn't always clean from Spanish resets if those Maya have been residing in Chichen Itza proper, or a close-by settlement. Each Spanish and Maya, the Cenote Sagrado remained an area of pilgrimage. Site description. A map of vital Chichen Itza turned into one in all the biggest Maya cities, with the incredibly densely clustered structure of the web page middle overlaying a place of at the least 5 rectangular kilometers, 1.9 sq mi. Smaller scale residential structure extends for an unknown distance past this. The metropolis turned into constructed upon damaged terrain, which turned into artificially leveled so that you can construct the essential architectural groups with the best attempt being expended with inside the leveling of the regions for the Castillo pyramid, and the Las Mañas, Osario, and main southwest groups. Temple of Kukulcán, El Castillo. The jaguar throne in the Temple of Kukulcán, El Castillo, pyramid is pink, and inlaid with jade. The descent of the serpent impact proven at Kukulcán all through the nighttime display with synthetic lighting fixtures. The descent of the serpent impact found at Kukulcán all through the 2009 spring equinox. Main article, El Castillo, Chichen Itza. Dominating the north platform of Chichen Itza is the Temple of Kukulcán, a Maya feathered serpent deity much like the Aztec Quetzalcoatl. The temple changed into diagnosed through the primary Spaniards to look at as El Castillo, the castle, and it often is called such. This step pyramid stands approximately 30 meters, 98 feet, excessive, and includes a chain of 9 rectangular terraces, every about 2.57 meters, 8.4 feet, excessive, with a 6 meter, 20 feet, excessive temple upon the summit. The aspects of the pyramid are about 55.3 meters, 181 feet, at the bottom, and upward push at an attitude of 53 degrees. Despite the fact that varies barely for every aspect. The 4 faces of the pyramid have sticking out stairways that upward push at an attitude of 45 degrees. The talud partitions of every terrace slant at an attitude of among 72 degrees and 74 degree. At the bottom of the balustrades of the northeastern staircase are carved heads of a serpent. Mesoamerican cultures periodically superimposed large systems over older ones, and the Temple of Kukulcán is one such example. In the mid-1930s, the Mexican authorities backed an excavation of the temple. After numerous fake starts, they observed a staircase below the north aspect of the pyramid. By digging from the top, they determined any other temple buried under the cutting-edge one. Inside the temple chamber changed into a Chikmul statue, and a throne with inside the form of jaguar, painted pink, and with spots made from inlaid jade. The Mexican authorities excavated a tunnel from the bottom of the north staircase, up the Sooner Pyramid stairway to the hidden temple, and opened it to tourists. In 2006, INA closed the throne room to the public. Around the spring and autumn equinoxes, with inside the past due afternoon, the northwest nook of the pyramid casts a chain of triangular shadows towards the western balustrade at the north aspect that conjures up the arrival of a serpent wriggling down the staircase, which a few pupils have advised is an illustration of the feathered serpent deity. Kukulcán. It is a giant perception that this light and shadow impact changed into executed on reason to document the equinoxes. However, the concept is rather unlikely. It's been proven that the phenomenon may be found, without essential changes, all through numerous weeks across the equinoxes, making it not possible to decide any date through watching this impact alone. Great Ball Court. The Great Ball Court archaeologists have diagnosed 13 ball courts for gambling the Mesoamerican ballgame in Chichen Itza, 53. However, the Great Ball Court, approximately 150 meters, 490 feet, to the northwest of the Castillo, is through some distance the maximum impressive. It is the biggest and first-rate preserved ball courtroom docket in historical Mesoamerica, 44. It measures 168 through 70 meters, 551 through 230 feet. 54 at 1 quid of the Great Ball Court is the North Temple, additionally called the Temple of the Bearded Man, Templo del Hombre Barbado. Additional systems. The Tzimpantli, or skull platform, Plataforma de los Cráneos, indicates the clean cultural have an effect on of the valuable Mexican plateau. Unlike the Tzimpantli of the highlands, however, the skulls have been impaled vertically in preference to horizontally as at Tenochtitlan. This platform of Venus is devoted to the planet Venus. In its indoors, archaeologists determined a group of massive cones carved out of stone. The reason of that's unknown. This platform is placed north of El Castillo, among it and the Cenote Sagrado. The steam bath is a completely unique constructing with 3 parts, a ready gallery, a water bath, and a steam chamber that operated via heated stones. Sacred Cenote. The sacred cenote, the Yucatan Peninsula, is a limestone plain, and not using a rivers or streams. The place is pockmarked with herbal sinkholes, referred to as cenotes, which disclose the water desk to the surface. One of the maximum staggering of those is the Cenote Sagrado, that's 60 meters, 200 feet, in diameter, and surrounded by a way of means of sheer cliffs that drop to the water desk a few 27 meters, 89 feet, below. Temple of the Warriors. Detail of the Temple of the Warriors. Displaying a statue of Shakmul, the Temple of the Warriors complicated includes a big stepped pyramid fronted and flanked with the aid of using rows of carved columns depicting warriors. This complicated has similarities to temple beyond the Toltec capital of Tula, and shows a few shape of cultural touch among the two regions. Group of 1,000 columns. The columns are in 3 awesome sections, a west group, that extends the strains of the front of the Temple of Warriors. The northeast column temple additionally covers a small wonder of engineering, a channel that funnels all of the rainwater from the complicated a few 40 meters, 130 ft, away to a regelada, a former cenote. To the south of the group of 1,000 columns is a set of 3, smaller, interconnected buildings. And the Thompson's Temple, a small constructing with stages that has friezes depicting jaguars in addition to glyphs of the Maya god Cahul.